Hey guys, I thought I'd make a quick video just to demonstrate how you can use the TinkerCAD Circuits simulator to emulate some Arduino stuff on screen and using the basic codes that are built into the Arduino runtime software, just to get your head around some of this practical stuff in a simulated environment if you don't have the practical resources with you, just to make sure that you can all still access the stuff. So if we dive in here, you can see this is the TinkerCAD Circuits software. Hopefully you've all been able to access that using the links that I've given you. And the other thing that I've suggested that you do by now is download and install the Arduino app or access this via their web-based version. So here you can see the Arduino app as well. And if you navigate in this program to File, Examples, you can see there's a lot of these basic or a lot of these sample sketches, a lot of these examples that you guys could play around with. The super basic first one, which hopefully you've all been able to do by now, is this one which says blink. Now in one of the tutorial videos that I sent you, it tells you what all of this stuff is. All of this faded grey text you could pretty much just ignore, or you could even delete it if you wanted to. That's just someone talking about stuff to explain what's happening, and then the rest of the code happens here. Now avoid setup. This means things that happen when the Arduino gets power. And the rest of this stuff are things that happen continuously throughout, or continuously over and over again. They loop while the Arduino is switched on. And so the only things in this piece of code is it defines that we're using the LED that's built in to the board. We're not plugging in an external LED. And then what happens is, it says here, it's going to write that LED to high, which means turn it on. Then it's going to delay for 1000 milliseconds or 1 second. Then it's going to turn it to low or off, and then it's going to wait another second. And then because this is a loop, when it gets to this close bracket, it comes straight back to that open bracket, and that will just continue over and over again. So how do we see this happen in our on-screen environment? Well, here in our TinkerCAD Circuits, all you need to do is scroll here to find the Arduino Uno revision 3, click and drag it onto the screen, and for this particular sample sketch, I don't need any other external components or batteries. That's literally all I need. The built-in LED is one of these here, and we'll see that in a minute. The next thing I'm going to do is, in the simulator, I'm going to come up here to this code button, and then instead of using block coding, which you're welcome to experiment with, but I've got the text code from the Arduino software, so I'm going to change this to text and just hit continue. And now here's the text. So I'm going to come back to my Arduino software. I'm going to copy all of this. I'm going to come into my Arduino simulator, and I'm going to paste all of this. Now here's my new code that I've just pasted, and then all I have to do is click this button, Start Simulation, and that's it. This light here turns on to tell me the Arduino is switched on, and here is my inbuilt LED, which you can see is blinking as per the code. Now what you can do, and this is what I encourage you to do with this code, and sort of the purpose here is, don't just paste it and get it to work, but now get your head around how this works. So we could change this to, maybe I want it to only be on for half a second, and then I want it to delay for 2 seconds. So you could change these parameters within the code and test it. So now it's going to turn on for half a second, delay for quite some time, and so on. Now to use a more complicated one, for example, a more complicated code, I might test now examples. Let's pick one here. Let's go analog fading, the fading code, just as another tester. So I'm going to use this fade code. Now what's happening here is, here's my setup, nothing happens. The only integer, which you've hopefully learned during that video I sent, that is, learn Arduino in 15 minutes, define all of this stuff. So all it's doing here is it's defining that I'm plugging an LED into pin 9. And every time within the code that it uses the term LED pin, it specifically means pin 9. And so down here, for example, where it says analog write LED pin, what that's doing is it's writing that to pin 9, and we don't need to worry about that. And so all of this code here is saying that it's going to fade from full to nothing in increments of 5, wait for 30 milliseconds in between increments, and you get the idea here. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it into my texting over here. If I ran this now, nothing would happen because I don't have anything plugged into pin 9. So how do I do that? I'm going to drag and drop an LED in, and then you click on this on the cathode, drop that, to pin 9, click on this anode, and I'm going to drop that to 3.3 volts. And you could now experiment by putting in a resistor. If this was, if we were actually doing this with a real one, you would want to put a resistor so we don't blow our LED. So we can see what happens without a resistor in this case. Here's my code that I've just pasted in. You can read through that if you want. I've got this connected to pin 9 and I hit start. And there we go. We can see this pulsing now, just as per the code. So it goes from fully on, 255, to fully off, which is 0, in increments of 5. And that's it. So hopefully, I suppose that I'm not going to step you through using all of these resources, all of the things that are built in here to the simulator, but hopefully you can use that in conjunction with some other resources, some other videos to access all of these samples at least, and we'll start coding our own things later. So hopefully if you wanted to, you'd be able now to sort of go and look up an Arduino tutorial and find the code for it, and normally you would paste the code here in the program, build your physical Arduino in your hands or on the desk in front of you, and then plug it in, paste the code here and upload it over a cable to your Arduino. But what we can do now is take that code and put it here within this software and then build your Arduino in this on-screen environment and get that to work. Hopefully that helps you guys, and I'll see you in another video.